Well, here we are at the final unit, and I've done good work, and know it's been a struggle to get all the work done, but I hope it's been worthwhile. I hope you've learned something from this very, very important letter that Paul gave us. So, what we want to do as we look at this unit is to notice two things really. One would be Paul's discussion of the armor, and then the his words about prayer. Just the concluding remarks are also included here, and you certainly are free to deal with those as you would like to. But I would encourage you to focus on these two things: the armor, and then the Paul's words, and um, when he talked about prayer in verses 18 through 20. So as we look at that, there are really two things that are important that I would like for you to do. And the first is use your imagination a little bit. Try to put yourself in Paul's position. And as he came up with this idea, of course, in the Spirit, but he came up with it as he yielded to the Spirit, to use the metaphor of that Roman soldier wearing all of that armor, and to use that to teach us something about the life of one who is a follower of Christ and who is seeking to live out Christ in his life on a daily basis. So kind of think about why you think Paul would have used that metaphor, and what was going through his mind as he thought about that, and then I would encourage you to look at each of these individual pieces of armor, and don't look at it simply as a preacher trying to preach a creative sermon, but rather look at it as an individual follower of Christ, and ask yourself the question: what does this mean to me? What is Paul trying to say to me? What is the message that the Spirit has for me as I look at this individual piece of armor, remembering that it is a metaphor and that it is describing something about how I need to live as my life is being transformed by Him, and I'm living out that transformation in relationship with other people, as he's just talked about in 5:21 through 6:9. So then the final thing I would encourage you to do is to think about what you think may have been on Paul's mind as he talked about prayer in verses 18 through 20, and especially why do you think he repeated this a word of some kind for prayer or reference to prayer so many times in those verses? It's kind of striking to me. Paul really had prayer on his mind, and he was really thinking about it. So think that through, if you will, and see what it looks like, and then come up with this final interpretation. And I'll look forward to seeing what you come up with.